Soul Land Episode 160 Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Chapter 193. Self-Created Spirit Ability, Disorder Splitting Wind Dance. TL by Piggy Bottle and Helper. Taking a deep breath, in face of Xue Qinghe's holy sword that dazzled a golden radiance, Tang San forcefully endured with the pain in his heart. As a control system spirit master, all along it had been him who directed the tempo of his opponents in battles. Right now, however, he was the one being wholly controlled, and this caused him a sense of frustration. Despite this, he understood that if he allowed negative thoughts to surface, he would undoubtedly be defeated in this battle to the death. Within the dense angelic domain, Tang San had nowhere to hide. At the moment when the sword of light brimming with holy energy landed on his body, he made a decision that even Xue Qinghe did not expect. Tang San withdrew the aura around his body, and even the blue-silver emperor spirit along with it. At the same time, a layer of golden light floated out of his body. That was the second invincible golden body skill that he could use today. Gripping his holy sword, Xue Qinghe pierced through Tang San's body in a blow, but due to the effect of invincible golden body, Tang San was unharmed. Actually, Tang San could have used teleportation to avoid this attack. However, being in Xue Qinghe's domain, Tang San did not know the extent of his teleportation ability. Innately, he felt that teleportation's effect within this angelic domain would not be great. In this gamble of life and death, to prevent unnecessary risks, Tang San still used his invincible golden body's absolute defense instead. The moment when a golden light enveloped his body, Tang San basically ignored Xue Qinghe and the fact that the latter went through his body, the clear sky hammer already in his grasp. Simultaneously rotating his body in mid-air, the clear sky hammer was thrown out from this golden world. A ray of grey light rippled with great spirit energy. That was the disorderly wind-splitting method. For Tang San, who once trained bitterly under the waterfall, as dense as the golden light of the angelic domain might be, it was still insufficient to affect him executing the disorderly wind-splitting method. Furthermore, with the Death God domain engraved on his clear sky hammer, only when using the clear sky hammer would the might of the Death God domain be fully displayed, just as how blue-silver domain would enhance blue-silver emperor to the greatest extent. Itself emitting a dense black light, the clear sky hammer was surrounded by an even stronger layer of white. With the motion of a single strike, this golden-colored domain shook violently. At the same time, Tang San felt the pressure on his body weakened. Ever since the mastery of the disorderly wind-splitting method, this was the first time the hammer's force had completely disappeared. As the two forces blended, the Death God domain's killing aura had risen by a bit. Although he had used the Clear Sky Clan's secret technique previously, he had not used it in a live battle before. Despite the Clear Sky Hammer being without a single spirit ring, its inherent quality along with Tang San's 66th rank spirit power and being engraved with Death God domain, the strike had an extremely great effect. Death God domain's killing intent infused with the domineering aura of the Clear Sky Hammer complemented each other. Even without manifesting its spirit avatar, the Clear Sky Hammer ensured Tang San's ability to survive within the angelic domain. Passing through Tang San's body, Xue Qinghe immediately felt something was off. Following the violent tremble of the angelic domain, the latter realized that Tang San's Death God domain innately enhanced the natural might of the Clear Sky Hammer. Spirit complemented by domain, only 2 hammer strikes was needed to destabilize his angelic domain. With regards to the abilities of Clear Sky Hammer, Spirit Hall had naturally conducted detailed research. The disorderly wind-splitting method was not excluded. Without doubt, the technique was mighty, but Spirit Hall's research also unveiled that it required continuous accumulation to be executed to the greatest effect. In front of a living target, besides coincidence, who would provide such an opportunity? Consequently, Xue Qinghe did not pay much attention to Tang San's usage of disorderly wind-splitting method. He felt it only right that Tang San was forced to use the technique to counter his angelic domain. But, without the protection of the 100,000-year spirit ring's ability, how can you still block my attacks? The number of times you can use that absolute defense is definitely limited. I want to see just how many times you can still block. These thoughts passed Xue Qinghe's mind in a flash. Within the angelic domain, he moved like a fish in water, body gliding freely. Pointing his holy sword forward, he flew in Tang San's direction. Holy Sword was his 5th spirit ring ability, conjured from Holy Flame. Not only did it have extremely high attack power, but also enhanced the purifying effect of his spirit power by 300%. An ordinary spirit master, when struck, would have his spirit power greatly diminished in addition to the physically injury. Severe injury was inevitable, if not death. Presently, this was not the situation as Tang San faced off with Xue Qinghe. Every strike of the clear sky hammer in his grasp caused his swinging speed to increase. In a moment, 5 strikes were executed. As the clear sky hammer accumulated more and more energy, the effect of Death God domain rose. The white light guarding his body expanded outwards, and Tang San felt the pressure brought by the angelic domain wane. Following the exchange of techniques, Tang San's spiritual sense naturally sharpened. When Xue Qinghe turned to face him, holy sword in hand, Tang San realized at the first moment, the clear sky hammer in his grasp with no intent to stop. Dazzling golden light approached his body immediately. Concurrently, Tang San swung his 6th hammer swing. The timing Xue Qinghe picked was without doubt precise. When his holy sword arrived, the clear sky hammer was swung behind Tang San's body and could not make it in time to the front. Despite this short instant, Xue Qinghe's proficiency enabled him to stab Tang San and at the same time withdraw safely. But was Tang San so easily beaten? No, certainly not. He would have died countless times before if he was so easy to defeat. The moment when the holy sword reached him, Tang San's body suddenly and bizarrely retreated by a meter. This 1 meter was not to be underestimated. Xue Qinghe's attack was entirely focused on the position where Tang San was before. This led to a loss in peak strength of Xue Qinghe's holy sword's single strike. In addition, the distance of a meter enabled Tang San to swing his clear sky hammer from the back towards his front, colliding with the holy sword that dazzled with golden flames. A loud rumble resounded, abruptly stirring up strong waves of air. Despite the accumulated strength of 6 swings, despite his best effort to put himself in a favorable position, despite the might of the clear sky hammer's might engraved with the Death God domain, the one to be blasted out by the impact was still Tang San. This was the effect of a domain. Manifesting his spirit avatar within his angelic domain, Xue Qinghe's overall strength rose by 30%. Besides this, the holy sword was his 5th spirit ability, and adding that there was a gulf between Tang San's spirit power and his, even though his strike was one with the strength of 6th hammer swings, the one to lose out was still Tang San. However, what Xue Qinghe did not know was that Tang San's strike was just a probe. Tang San was sent flying by the impact, but the golden light of the holy sword failed to penetrate his defense. While his body fell back, he was still able to maintain his posture in midair and continuously swung the clear sky hammer. Every swing exuded a black and white radiance that weakened the golden flames of the holy sword. As such, even though blood seeped from his mouth as he retreated, he was not truly harmed. Due to Tang San's sudden retreat by 1 meter, Xue Qinghe was slightly stunned as he could not understand how Tang San managed it. Within his domain, he was the overlord. The moment Tang San was trapped inside, Xue Qinghe could freely control his domain to restrict Tang San's movement to the center of the domain. Thus, regardless of how Tang San moved, even if he had teleported, he would still remain at the same spot. This was also one of the mysteries of the domain, but just before, Tang San actually retreated by a step. This simply could not be done with the current level of his Death God domain. Little did Xue Qinghe know the effort Tang San made in order to retreat by that one step. That simple step was only created by fusing the Death God domain engraved on the clear sky hammer, Blue Silver Emperor's right leg bone's inherent strength and Xiaowu Spirit Bone's teleportation ability. 3 skills merged as one, only then did it momentarily surpass the effect of the domain, making that 1 meter retreat possible. The strength of a domain is great, but also had its limit. Using his 3 techniques, Tang San overcame this limit momentarily to step back by 1 meter. Yet, all he could do was only move within a meter. The combined strength of 3 abilities could only help him do this much. Colliding with Xue Qinghe, the power accumulated by 6 swings dissipated, but while he was sent flying, the clear sky hammer in Tang San's grasp did not cease and the disorderly wind-splitting method began to charge. The reason he was sent flying was due to Xue Qinghe's own strength. Even though Tang San's body was restricted to the center of the domain, the holy sword belonged to Xue Qinghe who was overlord of the domain. As such, when its power erupted, when Tang San was enveloped by its golden flame, he was free from restriction to the center and was thus sent flying backwards. But it was still impossible for him to take this chance to escape from the domain. When the golden flames disappeared, he went back to the center once again, where Xue Qinghe was awaiting him. Until now, Xue Qinghe did not believe that Tang San had the strength to resist him within his own domain. The eventual outcome would not change either. He absolutely did not believe that Tang San was able to adapt to the various changes within his domain in such a short time. Even if he could adapt, he would not be able to reverse the effects brought by the domain. The moment those golden flames around Tang San disappeared, he was forcefully dragged back to the center position, and Xue Qinghe's holy sword swung down at an angle. He was not in a hurry to destroy Tang San, he sought a perfect victory and took advantage of the domain's reduction on Tang San's speed. He would not give Tang San any chance to fight back. As of now, Tang San's disorderly wind-splitting method had reached its fourth swing. The instant when the clear sky hammer was about to collide with the holy sword, Tang San suddenly made a weird choice. He did not let the clear sky hammer collide with the holy sword, his body miraculously retreating by a meter again. Simultaneously bending his body while swinging the clear sky hammer, it dodged the holy sword's strike. At the same time, his clear sky hammer swiftly made 2 more swings, accumulating 6 swing strength once again. Strangely, Tang San did not use the clear sky hammer to strike Xue Qinghe who had an opening, but swung towards nothingness. Tang San once again shocked Xue Qinghe, the latter never thought that an opponent would be able to dodge his attacks within his domain. However, his reaction was extremely quick, just as Tang San swung his 7th swing, the holy sword shone brilliantly and grew by 2 qi, at the same time drawing 2 arcs of light, sealing almost all possible escape routes for Tang San. You don't want to face me head-on? Then I shall just do that. Use my spirit power to overpower you. Xue Qinghe's way of thinking was undoubtedly valid. However, he could not see through the technique Tang San currently executed. Suddenly, Tang San swayed like a ghost. Although Xue Qinghe made 2 strikes that followed each other closely, it was still 2 discrete attacks. Tang San's body shimmered like an illusion, and exploited the gap between the 2 strikes to escape, along with his clear sky hammer that gradually gathered power. The present him gave Xue Qinghe the impression that he was dancing in his angelic domain. The clear sky hammer did not waver because of his movement, maintaining a wondrous and steady swinging motion. When Tang San escaped from Xue Qinghe's attack, his clear sky hammer had already swung 11 times. The accumulated black and white light becoming more and more dense. What shocked Xue Qinghe the most was Tang San's movement range had expanded from 1 meter to 1.5. That is why he was able to calmly evade Xue Qinghe's attack with that dancing motion. What Tang San had just executed, could be said he trump-card ability, the first time he had used it against a foe. He had named it disorderly wind-splitting dance. The flaw of the disorderly wind-splitting method was apparent. Tang San had immersed himself in this technique for a long time, training bitterly under the guidance of his father. Naturally, he knew this flaw restricted the might of this powerful technique. While cultivating under the waterfall, he began experimenting how to overcome this situation, that is how to complete the 81 swings of the disorderly wind-splitting method while facing an opponent. After countless trials, he managed to find a possibility, by merging his ghost shadow perplexing track and disorderly wind-splitting method, thus creating a spirit technique belonging to him alone. Borrowing the elusiveness of ghost shadow perplexing track, coupled with the might of the clear sky hammer, if the execution was successful, it would undoubtedly be a powerful self-created spirit technique. However, to combine 2 skills belonging to completely different categories, how could it be easy? When Tang San began experimenting, he had failed countless times, with the critical problem being tempo. Each technique totally differed in rhythm from the other. Disorderly wind-splitting method had its own tempo, requiring continuous swinging for the accumulation of energy. Its tempo gradually quickened, this was an indisputable fact. Otherwise the might of the technique cannot be displayed. On the other hand, ghost shadow perplexing track moved in accordance to the opponent's movement, thus was unpredictable in nature. Moreover, focusing spirit energy on the clear sky hammer used the calves to generate force, to create this merged technique was as insurmountable as the heavens. Tang San had originally given up on creating this spirit technique. Until Xiao Wu sacrificed herself to save him, after he obtained Xiao Wu's spirit rings and soft bone, that he discovered this technique accidentally while cultivating. The first point to note was that disorderly wind-splitting dance could only be executed in mid-air, as only then could the legs remain unaffected when exerting during a hammer strike. This originally was nearly impossible to achieve. But with Blue Silver Emperor's right leg bone enhancing Tang San's leg strength and enabling him to fly, he could accomplish this. With regards to the more important question of rhythm, Xiao Wu's spirit bone's teleportation ability overcame this. Whenever problems arose with the tempo, Tang San could rely on teleportation to readjust his posture to continue the execution of disorderly wind-splitting method. By concurrently using teleportation with ghost shadow perplexing track, it was naturally sufficient to avoid the opponent's attack. Notwithstanding the fact that being in the angelic domain prevented him from distancing himself from his foe using teleportation, he was still able to utilize the short distance of 2 meters to execute Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track, thus displaying disorderly wind-splitting dance's might to the fullest. He had high innate talent, and moreover possessed the mighty seraphim spirit. However, he had all along been undercover in Heaven Do imperial family and had to conceal his abilities as much as he could. Consequently, although his spirit rank was high, in terms of combat experience, he was still lacking compared to Tang San. In the face of these unexpected turn of events, confusion took root in his heart. In his haste, his holy sword swung uninhibitedly in exasperation to disrupt Tang San's accumulation of disorderly wind-splitting method. But he was disappointed quickly. Even though this was his domain, the innate clash between Death God domain and Angelic domain had reduced his domain's effect on Tang San to the lowest. Once and again, Tang San's disorderly wind-splitting method dodged his attacks, accumulating strength with each successive swing. When he cleared his mind, Tang San had already swung more than 36 times. The jet-black clear sky hammer exuded a faint layer of gold pattern with the accumulation of spirit energy, and the engraved Death God domain gave off a white radiance. This caused Tang San's mobility range to expand. The great volume of spirit energy gathered on the hammer made even He shocked. After 36 swings, he felt that he was beginning to be subdued by the vast spirit pressure. Even with the 30% boost from his angelic domain, he dared not engage it recklessly. A wave of regret swept over He. Even though Tang San's disorderly wind-splitting method was mighty, within his domain, he could have disrupted it if he had acted aptly earlier. Withdrawing the holy sword with haste, He's body was quickly engulfed in a golden color, giving Tang San free rein to swing his hammer. At this moment, however, a sense of dread rose in Tang San. He knew that He's mind had cleared, he was now at a crucial juncture of breaking his opponent's domain. What Tang San could not see was He, hidden in the center of the domain, his sixth spirit ring gradually shining. The 6 wings on his back madly absorbing the energy within the domain, streaks of golden lightning traced this body relentlessly like snakes. Taking a deep breath, He exhaled forcefully. A piercing and shrill whistle emitted from this mouth. At that moment, without warning, fiery golden flames thrusted out from his pair of eyes, extending over a meter. That was his 6th spirit ring ability, a mental attack, Angel's Howl. Angel's Howl, utilizing the angelic spirit power's special transforming ability, instantaneously converted 50% of spirit power into a mental attack, encompassing a wide range. When struck, the victim would receive great mental trauma. If one's mental strength was less than half of the user, his soul would immediately shatter, with death following a head implosion. If one's mental strength was more than half, it would result in mental damage, causing a stunning effect. The duration of stun depended on the differences in mental strength of the user and target. Indeed, the technique was an overbearing one that could be said to defy the heavens. Directly striking a foe's soul. That was the manifestation of the might of the super battle spirit seraphim. Presently, while He was gathering energy, Tang San hastily swung the clear sky hammer, accumulating 60 swings. The moment Angel's Howl effect of vertigo kicked in, he certainly would be unable to control his clear sky hammer. Then, He didn't even need to strike. The clear sky hammer's accumulated energy would rip Tang San to pieces when uncontrolled. After rousing from his confusion, He undoubtedly thought of the best solution. However, Tang San's disorderly wind-splitting method had yet to be disrupted. He couldn't allow himself to be defeated by He. For the 3rd time, invincible golden body protected Tang San. While Angel's Howl was a heaven-defying technique, a spirit ability coming from 100,000-year spirit bone was even more so. With the last invincible golden body he could utilize in a day, for the first time Tang San directed the flow of the battle. The final 10 or so swings completed just as he blocked Angel's Howl. Black and white, 2 streaks of light revolved around each other like dragons. When the 9x981 swings were completed, Death God Domain's evolved ability Killing Intent initiated. At this instant, Tang San elevated his domain's effect to unprecedented heights. Immense energy rippled out, causing the fighters on ground to pause. The 3 title DouLuo and 1 spirit DouLuo did not utilize their final spirit ring technique in battle. They wouldn't lightly determine the eventual outcome of the battle, both sides awaiting the mid-air battle to conclude, confident that their respective youths will emerge victorious. When that golden domain spread in the air, Snake Lance DouLuo and Porcupine Fish DouLuo's confidence swelled to the limit, making them even less inclined to go all out against the opponents. Their strength excelled over the other side, and carefully stalling, both sides had kept a careful balance. But the tremendous energy fluctuations in the sky alarmed both sides, and they swiftly retreated almost like empty shadows, pulling open the distance between each other. At this moment, in mid-air, one black and one white, two entangled rays of light shot forth towards the sky, breaking the restraint of the golden color in an instant. Vast energy ripples resulted in a loud aerial explosion, just as if there was a thunderstorm. With a cracking sound, the golden color shattered into large fragments and crumbled further, before dissolving into innumerable specks of fine golden lights and fading away in mid-air. The dazzling sky returned to its original colors. Two shadows appeared in mid-air at the same time. He extended the two pairs of wings that just recovered on his back to stabilize his body. Thick blood flowed from his nostrils like two red miniature snakes, while purplish-black blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. Eyes dim, he dared not open his mouth to breathe in fear of spilling all the blood in his body. The strike condensed from 81 hammer swings not only enhanced the Death God domain and destroyed his angelic domain, at the same time it shattered his spirit avatar, causing him severe injury he never experienced before. However, Tang San on the other hand was no better off than him. His face was as pale as sheet, coughing out mouthfuls of bright red blood. The clear sky hammer in his hand had disappeared, and his body violently trembled. Although he had at last broken He's angelic domain, at the same time he exhausted his spirit energy. Unable to sustain the 8 spider lances on his back, he withdrew it into his body. During the short battle between them, every response Tang San had made was absolutely right. However, there was still a huge gulf between He's strength and his. As much as he had taken advantage of He's mistakes, in the process of breaking the angelic domain, he still depleted a large amount of spirit energy, whether it was the execution of disorderly wind-splitting dance or the imperceptible consumption within the opponent's domain. His body is now fully emptied of spirit energy. As of now, although He's injuries were worse, his situation is the more dire of the two. He could only force himself to use the last bit of spirit energy to control his blue-silver emperor right leg bones flying to slowly descend to the ground. Glancing at each other, Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish, the two titled DouLuos, could see the dread in the other's eyes. How could they not know the might of He's angelic domain even if others did not? Even if they utilized their spirit avatars while in the domain, to break out of it was not an easy task. But a spirit emperor youth managed to accomplish this feat. Not only breaking out of the domain's restraint, but also injuring He heavily. Now, they realized why He treated Tang San with importance. Tang San's potential and strength far exceeded that of spirit masters of the same rank. With a wah sound, He could no longer endure and spat a mouthful of blood, the wings on his back losing their radiance. Taking a deep breath, his sight was fixed on Tang San, who was slowly descending, not with fury or hatred in his eyes, but a tinge of praise. His situation was not optimistic, but he knew how Tang San was faring at the same time. Hastily adjusting his bodily qi, he looked at Tang San and spoke. Tang San, you really give me surprises one after another. I really could not bear to kill you. Without an opponent such as you, I think the rate of my improvement would slow drastically. As of now, other than Big Sister, you are the only one worthy to be my lifelong opponent. Tang San did not speak, but raised his head and straightened his back, looking coldly at He. Mysterious heaven skills circulated rapidly to restore spirit energy, enabling him to recover much faster than any other spirit master in this world. The reason he did not sustain severe harm when the domain broke, one was because he was the attacker, the other, because of the toughness of his body. In terms of bodies, even a titled DouLuo may not match up to him. With a sweeping gaze to the front, Tang San thought to himself that what is to come should be coming. At this instant, Porcupine Fish DouLuo, who was retreating, shook, a jade green-tipped sharp spine piercing the air towards Tang San, who no longer have the strength to dodge, and even less use golden invincible body. Dugubo and Yang Wudi were both too far away, unable to save Tang San in time. The timing and method of attack that Porcupine Fish DouLuo chose was underhanded to the extreme. Bastard! With a flash, a golden light shot out and a muffled collision was heard. Although it was unable to smash the sharp spine, the impact caused the attack to veer and fly past Tang San's side instead. He, who previously was unruffled even during the intense exchange with Tang San, blew his top at last. Due to exertion, he spat out another mouthful of blood, gazing at Porcupine Fish DouLuo with anger. Who allowed you to strike? Porcupine Fish DouLuo was stunned. Young master, I. He's eyes seemed to spit fire as he stared furiously at Porcupine Fish DouLuo and Snake Lance DouLuo. Ci Shui 1, Shi Long 2, you two listen. Even if Tang San is to die, it will be by my hand. A fair showdown is the final respect I will give him. If you both attack again, don't blame me for being ruthless. Two great title DouLuos, in face of Shui Qinghe's fury, actually felt fear and retreated by a step, deferentially saying, yes. Hearing this, Tan San can't help but slightly feel astonished. Unable to hold back, he spoke. I did not expect you to have an honorable side. Touching the bloodstains on the corner of his mouth, Shui Qinghe's angry face gradually revealed a faint smile. Everyone's heart harbors a form of justice and evil belonging only to oneself. In this pragmatic world, the one who stands victorious, is righteous, is it not? By killing you today, I can completely send dispatches to denounce you as Emperor Shuiyi's poisoners in all of Heaven Do Empire. To speak of righteousness, what can compare to my seraphim? I know, in your heart, I am a despicable and evil existence. But why don't you think, if I'm totally useless, would I have been able to come this far? As he spoke, he raised his right arm, a strong golden light amassed in his palm. Although the gathering was slow, to Tang San, it was equivalent to Reaper's scythe. Although his spirit energy recovered quickly, he could feel that the moment it was generated, it immediately disappeared. Only now did he realize that although he had broke Shui Qinghe's angelic domain, the instant it was shattered, a portion of its purifying ability was injected into his body. Even if he required insignificant spirit energy to teleport, it was still impossible without a bit of spirit power. 1 Ci Shui, Thorn Blood. 2 Shi Long, Shi has no meaning, Long means dragon. Finish here. Subscribes, likes and comments guys. Good day.